You either make things happen or you watch things happen. I'm not back at Entertainer for money. I'm back to make my commercial baby again. Not good, but great. And to take everybody on the journey as well.
Today, we're going to be talking to one of the most successful entrepreneurs that Dubai has created. This lady is truly a powerhouse in business.
Everybody thinks it's easy. That's the problem. When you become successful, everybody thinks it's an overnight success story, but it's actually 10 years in the making that everybody forgets.
Back in 2001, with nothing more than $3,000 and an unshakable belief in her vision, she took a gamble on a brand new idea in Dubai, one that would go on to revolutionize how we think about lifestyle value.
When I sold, I was actually going through a really tough time personally. I was going through a divorce. I had 2 young kids. So one side was great financially, but my personal life was actually in a mess. And that's what people don't see behind the scenes.
Strap yourself in for a no-nonsense, hard-talking, but fair and fun conversation with a guest of the show that came here 5 years ago and is back now to update us all on the progress she's made and the astonishing success she's continued to have. Ladies and gentlemen, Donna Benton. This episode is proudly sponsored by Allsop & Allsop Private Office, Dubai's first ever homegrown private advisory for the ultra-luxury property market. Now, they're catering exclusively to high net worth individuals, ultra high net worth individuals, and family offices. They offer exceptional comprehensive advisory services with the utmost confidentiality and discretion. Bringing an elevated real estate experience that extends beyond property sales, the division is powered by the highest level of advisors in the Dubai property market, a select and dedicated team that brings unparalleled and comprehensive expertise to meet the needs of their elite clients. For a redefined era of luxury living in Dubai, schedule a consultation today for bespoke information and expert guidance. Donna, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Spencer. Good to be here.
5 years since you last came on this podcast.
It can't be 5 years.
It is. It's episode 42, October 2019.
Wow. It's taken you 5 years to contact me again.
5 years. You've left me for 5 years. I send you birthday messages, nothing. Nada. You don't send me anything, nothing.
I do. Well, I'm back now, right?
Yeah. Then you get here today. Oh, you must come to a launch. You've launched about 400 things in the last 5 years.
No, but I'd give you the quality ones.
No swimwear.
I'd give you the quality ones.
No swimwear invite.
We didn't do a launch. I should have bought you some board shorts. Oh, sorry. I'll send you some.
Life has changed. You seem to have accelerated in the world and just left me in your dust behind.
No, I have not. You're always in my memory.
Right, today's episode, I'm sure a lot of people would like to know a lot about your story, but I think that I'm going to link the first episode we did so that people can get a good background of your story, and I can kind of do a more updated thing, but just a very quick summary. Okay. You came here many years ago with £2.50 and a packet of fags in your hand.
Well, I came from Australia, not England, but yes. We call it dollars.
And I think the bit that's important for everybody at the beginning, though, is to know that you didn't come here with a rich husband, a rich father, a lottery win, a successful sale of a business before, a burgeoning career making fortunes. You came here really with very little.
I did. I came here with $3,000 and I literally got off the plane at 6 a.m. and started work at 9 a.m. that day. So, yeah.
And you created, obviously, The Entertainer, which was this wonderfully successful book that used to be spouted around when I was younger here, the 20 years I've been here.
People still talk about the book. It's amazing. They still talk about the book.
We had the conversation in the office yesterday with everybody because they knew you were coming and they're like, why don't we have the book anymore?
Oh, I know. We love the book. I know. Things have moved on, I know. But at least I know the book was loved.
Yeah.
I know.
But we tear our things out. We go to the thing. Oh, I've got a voucher.
It was very social, the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
And people would nick other things out of there. How many pages in the book used to be the same pages that were always left?
Well, do you know, when I first launched Entertainer, on the reverse side of that, everyone in business makes mistakes, right? So one of mine was I didn't shrink wrap the books. So I always used to know which were the popular outlets because they would have been stolen. And I'm like, wow, okay, Wild Waddy, Chili's, they're all really popular. Burger King, because everyone's stolen those ones. So that was the first lesson that I had, which were the most popular outlets because they weren't in there. But nobody ever uses the whole product, correct? There was pages left, but that's what The Entertainer's about. It's about a variety because everybody doesn't like the same thing.
Absolutely. Now, you went on to build this successful business, but I want to. We always talk about this kind of like climb and this success and whatnot. But you and I have got to know each other, and I find you to be brutally honest. Not that well.
No.
I know you've tried many times. I am married.
Oh God, no.
But people have kind of like heard the story of people climbing in business, but they're jealous of your success, or they're jealous of one's success, but they're not jealous of the journey it took to get there.
Yeah, there are some people like that. Not everybody's like that. And I try and surround myself with people that are not like that, and you learn along the way. But everybody thinks it's easy. That's the problem. When you become successful, everybody think it's an overnight success story, but it's actually 10 years in the making that everybody forgets. It's like running a marathon. You finish a marathon and everyone thinks you automatically just fit. But you've forgotten all the training to get to the 42K mark, that you've actually put in the blood, sweat and tears to actually do it. It's exactly the same with the business. It's literally 10 years in the making. You make it and everyone thinks it's an overnight success story, but there is a lot of hard work, grit, grief, tears, laughter, happy times at the same time. And it's all about the journey rather than the destination.
How do you make them, for people that struggle with that part, how do you make the journey fun?
Yeah, I don't have that formula that I can actually give someone, but what I would suggest is, one, you have to have really good work ethic. Secondly, you need to surround yourself by good people. Two, you've got to be able to motivate yourself. You've got to be able to celebrate the wins and not to be hard on yourself. And you really have to take calculated risks and be a little bit responsible for what you're spending, etc., on a financial point of view. But you have to really have passion as well. You have to love what you do, because if you don't do it. It's not going to work.
Most entrepreneurs fail. Most entrepreneurs don't make it. There's definitely one part of the ingredients that are missing for everybody, and those things are different for everyone. So I understand that. But the people that I've seen that tend to have really made it is they've got really good systems and processes. You know, they know how to execute. And I don't like the word motivate. I like the word discipline, because it's kind of like, if I've got discipline, if I know what I've got to do today when I wake up and I've got to execute on these things, my motivation comes from the wins, I suppose, rather than the kind of grunt work in business. Is that similar to you, different to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's how you position yourself mentally at the same time, because it's tough along the way. So I like to say, I get to do this, not I have to do this. And I'm fortunate to be in this position where I can do it, instead of, I'm very much glasses half full than half empty. And that's, again, I like the motivation, inspiration, however, it's discipline, but it all comes together with consistency. You have to be consistent, but you also have to deliver. You can be really good at what you do and go out and not deliver, and then it's not going to work. So you have to deliver, and you have to make sacrifices. That's the other thing. You have to make sacrifices. When I first came to Dubai, a lot of my friends were going on holidays and buying bags and shoes, and I didn't do anything for 2 years. I barely went away. I put my head down. I knew what I wanted to do, what I wanted to focus on, and I made those sacrifices, and then it gladly paid off.
The hustlers stay here through the summer.
The hustlers, exactly. You've got to have the hustle. You've got to have that oomph, you know. You've got to make things happen, not watch things happen, because no one's going to do it for you. People's
mental health comes into question when they go through tough times. And I think that mental health is a word that, I don't know if you remember this, it never used to, it wasn't a term.
No, it never used to.
It wasn't something. It was just like, oh, you're sad.
Well, yeah, we never grew up with that. Or get over it. You'll be fine.
You'd hear people that were depressed, but you'd very rarely hear people that were clinically depressed. You'd very rarely hear people that were diagnosed with ADHD, ADD, or whatever it may be. It just wouldn't be a frequent thing.
No, and if it was like a stigmatism. So that's why people were scared to say what it was.
Yeah.
It's very much more talked about now. It's open, and it's amazing how many people have the, whether it be ADHD or ADD or OCD or whatever it may be. And it's okay to have that.
My mum would say they're just things. All right, get over it. Okay?
Get over it. That's what, my dad puts in my head, that tough generation. Tough times come and go. Tough people last forever.
Yeah.
So, but when I'm in a struggle or really I'm like, no, come on, Donna, let's move on with this. Tough people last forever. And it does work in a way that depending on the situation you're in, sort of don't be that victim, but it's very different if it's a mental health issue that you have at the same time. Sometimes it's very difficult just to, just get over it. If someone's suffering a panic attack or something, you can't. You have to actually go through it or speak about it or vent or whatever the solution is.
But now it's become so frequent. Do you think the lines are now really blurred where if things are tough as you're building a business, we can now, hold on a minute, we've got a reason that it's tough. It's because I've now got mental health challenges because it's so tough. Whereas before it was, well, what do you expect it to be?
Yeah.
Of course it's going to be tough.
There is that. Look, I'm certainly not one to comment on it because I've sort of got my ways and work ethic and what I would expect. But I'm sure some people do use that, not as an excuse, but I'm having a bit of anxiety sort of today, But in our way growing up, we didn't even know what anxiety was. We just got on and done with it. So there's a very fine line of what's the boundary of anxiety? Where are we? As someone having a panic attack, sure, that is an anxiety. Or is it I'm just feeling a bit flustered where I actually tell when some people is feeling a bit of anxiety, let's just get some rescue remedy and a Vicks sniffer and you'll breathe better and it's all good. And you help people through it, but it's just the calming motion where it's all going to be okay, but now we just need to sort of move on, but we'll all move on together with it.
When we look at entrepreneurs or people that become entrepreneurs and want to grow and become successful, I'm sure if we sat down and said, right, write your business plan, be clear on what you want your outcome to be, so whatever you want to try and achieve, do your research, find out if there's a market for all that kind of stuff. But also let me tell you something.
There's a lot of
it's going to be dark. Yeah. You get anxiety. It's part of what you get. You get the wins, but you get the anxiety. And by the way, you'll have really dark days as well, and you'll feel really lonely and desperate sometimes. So don't worry. Okay, but that's going to happen.
When people are not paying you and you're getting no money, it's like, how am I going to pay the staff? Oh my gosh. Exactly. So there is that balance. There's a lot of dark times that come with owning a business, but on the flip side, there's a lot of great times as well.
There's people out there that have achieved great success, whether that's been winning a World Cup final in rugby or football or stuff like that. They've had these pinnacle moments. You've had this great success. You've sold this business for a huge amount of money. And a lot of people talk about the feeling that takes place when that happens. Johnny Wilkinson is famous for it in rugby, talking about, they've won the World Cup. It's this huge thing in rugby. They've won the World Cup, and then
it's like euphoric. It's amazing. It's like you're top of the world.
But I sat in the changing room, and I was like, now what?
Exactly.
And so, and that led him down a dark path because he was just like, have I just worked all these years just for that? So first of all, and I know you said this in other interviews where you've actually enjoyed the fact that you've done well and be successful, and of course you've got a load of money. Why would you not be happy? But were there moments where you sat thinking to yourself, is that it?
Yeah, look, firstly, I just want to say money doesn't buy happiness. I know everyone thinks it does. It certainly helps, don't get me wrong, but it's not, you can also be happy without millions and millions of dollars. That's what I'm saying. It's about who you're with, who you surround yourself to. I was actually, when I sold, I was actually going through a really tough time personally. I was going through a divorce. I had 2 young kids. So one side was great financially, but my personal life was actually in a mess. And that's what people don't see behind the scenes. So you're trying to celebrate something and you're happy for that, but crying on the other side for different reasons. And this is what I mean. It's, you could have all the money in the world and the success, but it's the foundation things that also matter the most. It's time. It's manners. These are the things that cost nothing that actually people appreciate the most. It's the thoughtful things. For me, I would rather somebody send me a bunch of flowers and be thoughtful than to actually buy me a designer bag. that's because they mean the most and they've thought about what I like, or white chocolate, or just things that I would.
Do you like white chocolate?
Love white chocolate.
While we're on it,
I'll be like,
let's do a list to make sure.
Chocolate, cheese. But my point is, it's sure everybody loves something nice, but it's the thoughtful things that mean the most. And yes, I know people will be listening thinking, but she's in a position to say that now because she is financial. And trust me, I haven't always been financial. This happened the last 5 years. And I was still very happy with white chocolate and flowers 10 years ago at the same time. And I'm still the same person I actually was when I had $3,000. So it's what makes you happy.
I always notice a handwritten note from somebody.
Very important.
Carries so much weight with me. You elevate yourself in a way that you couldn't possibly believe.
So I'll send you white chocolate and a handwritten note.
I don't like white chocolate. Validate the handwritten note. But what also I find is that, do you remember when Christmas cards used to be a thing?
Yes.
Okay. Of course you do.
Of course.
But Christmas cards would come.
I love Christmas.
Okay, but Christmas cards would come and it would be printed inside the card from a company. Merry Christmas from all of the team at XYZ Limited. Okay, and a couple of kind of signatures. Oh, thanks for the thought. But if that card was handwritten, hey Spence, I just want to say thank you for our relationship, whatever it may be. I really appreciate you. Have a wonderful Christmas.
Agree. It's a thoughtful thing.
I'm just like that, and those people matter more. And my best friend is he's not mega successful financially or anything, but he's the guy that takes the time to write me a message, okay, and say you're okay.
Yeah, that's nice.
And that's what matters to me.
Exactly.
And I think that all the way through my journey, he's been that guy that's just said, okay, he's like, I got your back, mate. I believe in you. No, we're not having that. We're going out and having a drink tonight, whatever it may be. But just trying to demonstrate that he cared. And that's what I value.
And you can count on him.
Oh, yeah.
That's the biggest thing, right? It's you can count on somebody. So you have your selection of people that you can count on. And they're, for me, security, safety and all that, they come into play probably maybe from childhood and whatnot. But they, everyone's got their thing and what's important. And I think that's what you need to find.
You sold the business for a lot of money. Did people treat you differently afterwards?
To be honest, I don't really know because my personality doesn't really change. So I can tell the people that want you for networking, I suppose, or who they can introduce you to, or to go out for dinner, or what you're going to buy, or what you're going to pay for. But I'm pretty selective who I give my time to.
Yeah, clearly. 5 years.
I know. I'm back though. I'm back. I'm a very loyal person at the same time. I'm very grounded, and I can read very quickly the people who don't want you for you, or they want you for your money. Because I would never do that to someone, so I can actually read the people that do. Okay. And I can play the game, of course. I can play the game. You go out, you're social, but you can tell the people who want you for what you have, not for you.
So anyway, you make this money. Tell me, when I first started to make a lot of money, I started to do things. I made bad decisions with money that I thought were good decisions. Mm-hmm. So I put my kids into very expensive schools. My kids have gone to very expensive universities, and all of this has been paid for, and everything that goes with it along the way. Mm-hmm. And I used to think that was really good. If you look at the pictures online of the school, it looks like Hogwarts. When they go to university, they're at the posh ones in London. And I thought I was doing the right thing. But they've come out of university and I realized they've never had to fight for anything.
Agree.
Mm. And then and someone said to me, you've taken away their privilege because you had to fight for everything. They've had to fight for nothing. And you've taken away the opportunity for them to feel what you felt when you achieved something. And I thought, wow, I hadn't even thought about it like that. What does that make you think?
I think in a way, maybe it's because as well, you never wanted them to go through what you went through, so you protect them a little bit at the same time.
But we both know going through that.
We wouldn't be who we are if we didn't go through it. Agree. So I haven't done that to my kids. So yes, my kids go to nice schools here, but they're generally very grounded, well-mannered, sporty kids. I said, if you want to go to university, great. If you don't, that's also okay. You need to be happy. It's whatever you get into, as long as you do your best. If 93% is your best or 52%, that's okay, as long as it's your best. So I'm not that mum that puts loads of pressure on them academically because I never went to university, but I believe instead of a university degree. I've got much more of a life degree. And I'm really trying to teach my kids the value of, and they're 14 and 11, by the way. I'm trying to teach them the value of money. They earn pocket money. They have to do chores. They go to a water park once a week. Once a year, not once a week. That's not really doing. Even today, I'll give you an example today. My son, Jack, he's 11. We have Entertainer out for delivery on our app. So I get this Deliveroo notification and I'm like, it was actually to Papa John's. And I'm like, he's just ordered Deliveroo and Papa John's when it's on Entertainer. And I've told him before, like, this company we've grown, it supports us, this is what feeds, I'm trying to do the whole school. So I've ringed him and he goes, oh, sorry. I said, I'm removing Deliveroo off your app now. It's going. And he said, oh, really? And I said, now you'll know that you can't use Deliveroo and you'll only have Entertainer to use. And once you've learnt that, then we can redo it. So that's just a tiny, small bit of a learning process. Because if you just, oh, yeah, it'll be fine. Oh, they won't do it again. Oh, it'll be okay. They have to learn. And if you don't take something away, they're never going to understand. So I'm pretty strict with my kids. I'm fun. I always say I'm fair, firm, but fun.
When you sold the business and you had this money come into your bank account, when I spoke to you, you weren't far down the road of doing much with that money in terms of the great things you've achieved over the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. You've done an awful lot in that period of time, and it's really quite interesting that we're sitting here today with that kind of like that window. Mm. So just to give context to everybody, okay. How many businesses did you start? How many businesses have you invested in? What is the number? Well, give us the rundown of what you've done. Because it's 60 months, which is all it is, but it's literally 60 months since then.
Yeah, so back to your comment earlier about what do you do next, the sporting analogy here. I thought, wow, what am I going to do next? I've created this company for 17 years. How am I going to top that? Should I take time off? What do I do? So I took a month or two off. I need to do something. I get bored quickly. I love also doing startups. I love anything that challenges me. So I was literally lying on a deck chair and I thought of swimwear. I thought, coming from Australia, I have a lot of swimwear. They didn't have a great range here. So I thought, I'm going to try totally something new. I'm going to start a swimwear company. And that's when I started Kaha Kapo from the very beginning. And that was really good and I love it and I've still got that. But then once I've done it, then I'm like, what next? That is the what next. Yeah. And sometimes it's not about the money. It's actually about the satisfaction of growing something. Mm-hmm. That's what it was to me.
Building.
It's building and achieving and leaving a legacy, and certainly also for my kids, that hard work, dedication, for them to lead, for you to lead by example to them at the same time. So I started the swimwear. I did a salon. This was a bit whilst I had Entertainer. I invested in a restaurant group, Sunset Hospitality. Where
you invested in a group, or you started a group?
No, I invested in the group. That was that would have been not in its embryonic stages. I'd done some investment with them personally for certain brands, but then when I did my sale, I went into the holding company. So they were 5 years in, and they're phenomenal. We now have 36 brands in, I don't even know how many countries, probably, 17 countries. 5,000 staff. So it's a really big company, but I wasn't in the business. I was on the business, on the board and things. So I just wanted to I like to operate something. So that's pretty much why I went back to Entertainer.
Did you change your role along the way within Sunset, or was it just always as an investor and a sound as well?
Always an investor. It's always an investor. And I did invest in some other things as well. I invested in a cannabis company, believe it or not, in Jamaica.
A cannabis company
in Jamaica, which is actually really good, a VR company. So I've done a lot of investments and I look over those. I'm very big on property. I always think if you go broke, you've got something to live in. Hopefully it'll appreciate, and it's a forced saving. Once you've got it, you can't really spend it. It's not cash flow because it's in something. So I'm very big on property at the same time.
So, but you live in a rented house?
I live in a rented house. Can you believe it? My only house, I live in a rented house.
So what's your justification for that?
Because I really love the location and you can't buy. I love where I live and we can't buy in that area. But I did buy a house in Abu Dhabi. So I use that as a bit of a holiday house.
I've heard that the laws are going to be changing.
Oh,
I hope so, King. there's been talk about it changing because people living in Sakim, the locals, have got a challenge with that.
Yeah,
So,
and I can understand that as well. We're in the UAE, and we're expats in their country. So it's just whether they would like to open that up. Or maybe they could do so if you've lived here for 20 years plus, then you get the choice to buy something. So your longevity. And the other thing I'm really big on is property. I think if you can put a deposit on a home or an apartment or anything, it's a forced saving. You've also got some income coming in from the rent. If ever you go broke, you can live in it. So there's a lot of great things about property. So I have invested in property along the way as well. Every time I got a dividend or a bonus or something, ever since I started Entertainer, I put a deposit down on a property.
did the Entertainer struggle? And is that why you went back? Or is that part of the reason you went back? And I want you to be really
straight to the jugular.
Just be honest with me.
Look, how I position it.
No, just be honest. You're my friend. We've known each other a long time. Okay, I just want you. I want you to be really honest, because I want everyone to understand, rather than fabricate their own interpretation of what happened and talk about what's politically correct. I want, from the horse's mouth, you to tell me why did you go back in? What happened?
The chairman rang me a year ago and asked me to come back. And don't get me wrong, the Entertainer's profitable still. It was still profitable without me. It wasn't not profitable or anything. It was just going in a very different direction. So when the chairman of GFH called me to come back, I did have to think about it, to be honest.
Oh, whoa. He called you to come back. Why?
Maybe he missed me.
He just got divorced. He remembered you.
I believe he wanted my vision back. And I am also a huge believer of no one will ever have the same vision as the founder. And you look at all the companies that happen. Steve Jobs is a perfect one. It was a little bit like a Steve Jobs story, but without as much funds as Apple. But he you know, it's hard to say because
was the business worth less? Okay.
Then when we sold it.
When you sold it.
Yes.
Okay. So you went in as part of a rescue deal.
I wouldn't call it rescue. I would call it.
Why not? Why are you playing down your ego around this subject here for a minute? You built this hugely successful company that was sold for a large amount of money, which is publicized everywhere anyway, so we all know what it was. Okay, and you've now, after all these years, gone back into the business to take it over. Now, I've heard all the stuff that you've done on your PR campaign, but the truth is, no one's going back in unless there's something that you needed or something that they needed. And that was, you needed something because I just miss it and it was my home and I love it. Can I find a way back in? Or someone going, holy crap, okay, we've bought this business thinking we would know how to run it without Donna being here. Now she's not here. It hasn't achieved what it could have achieved and we need some help. So there's nothing wrong in that.
I agree.
It's just business. No one should be ashamed of that.
I totally agree.
But this is such a good story for business owners and founders and people that sell companies, okay, because I think it's really important. If you buy a business, do you understand what the special sauce is? Because clearly you were the special sauce.
Well, I think a founder's always the special sauce. That's the key with any business. But the problem is when you have other CEOs in place, they want to be the special sauce and they keep trying for the new ingredient and it doesn't cook as well as the original one was in that
Pepsi never tastes the same as Coke.
Well, true.
But it didn't.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's in the McDonald's special sauce, even though we think we do, and we never make it exactly the same. It's just how it is.
Exactly. No, I totally get that. But look, it's just not about vision at the same time. It's about company culture. In any business, you surround yourself with good people. It's about being agile. It's about moving fast. And, and it took, I think, a lot for my chairman to actually come back and to ask me. So credit to him, I think. Fair play, that was great. And
that shows huge foresight and huge intelligence to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about ego and that getting in the way, but no, that's a guy that owns a business that said the best way to run the business is by bringing that person back in to do whatever she needs to do. And that's humbling for you, obviously, but that's a smart business person.
No, he's very smart. And the problem, what also gets in the way is when you've got ego as a CEO, this is anywhere, it doesn't work. because you're really not focusing on the product, you're focusing on yourself. So you actually need to go in with no ego. You have to have passion. You know, there was a lot of change that we did when I went back in there. I think I worked harder in the first 3 months than I did for 15 years. It was tough. There was a lot to do, and I'm not just saying that. And this was probably my way of doing it. And because I'm, as I was saying to you earlier, I'm quite fast. I multitask well. I've never done anything wrong to anybody. I deliver. And it was really rewarding. I had to restructure the whole team. Unfortunately, I had to let go of about 100 people in the first week, but I re-employed another 30 who were 80% were my old team, because again, I know I can count on them. The formula was right. They were my people, and they're awesome at what they do. And then the others I interviewed.
So how many people were still in the business from when you were there?
Oh, that's a rough question. Yeah, 8, 10.
And how many employees were in the company in total?
300.
And 8 or 10 were there?
Yeah.
And when you sold the business, how many were in there?
Roughly about the same amount, 300.
So
yeah, there was a lot of change. That's what I mean.
Whoa. Okay, just for everyone's benefit, you sold the business, roughly 300 employees. You then go away 5 years later, you come back. There's roughly 300 employees, but there's only 8 of the original 300.
Correct.
Okay. So the culture must have shifted dramatically.
Dramatically.
Okay. Give me some understanding of how the culture changed.
Well, the first question I actually got asked by all the women was, are you putting the hair salon back in the office? I had a hair salon because I think it's the salespeople to look good. You get more work done doing a mani-pedi in there. So the staff really liked that when I had that. I thought it's a great perk, which they love. And then that got taken away when I left. But yeah, the company culture wasn't what I would do. And obviously COVID was there. There was a lot of working from home. I'm a believer of working in the office. And after COVID, a lot of people were still working at home. And that I need sort of people there when you need them. Certainly if it's sales or whatever the position, we have lots of different departments, but you need to be uniformed and you all need to be there at some time. I do, if people want to work at home to get something done, that's fine. But you need to be, I think you are a lot of proactive in the office. Saying that, if there's also someone that needs to go to a school event or something for their kids or sick, I'm very lenient in that respect as well.
You want people to behave the way that you behave.
Exactly.
It's just to be committed, hardworking, okay, do the best job that they can do and not buy into any nonsense.
Exactly. And that's either right or wrong, but that's just my way of doing it. And I was very open. If people didn't want that when I came back, they didn't need to stay.
But it's so transparent that way.
You have to be transparent.
But it's for anyone. People don't want to hear stuff sometimes, do they? But when you just tell them straight between the eyeballs that this is what it is, this is what it's going to be. If you want to be on this boat, come with me. If you don't, no hard feelings. You can go find another boat to get on.
Exactly. But people don't want to make the hard decisions. So I had to make a lot of hard decisions going back, and I did. But it was all for the benefit of the company.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah.
Now, are you running the whole business?
Yes.
Okay, you're totally in charge?
Yes.
Okay, 9 to 5, 5 days a week type of stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm even back seeing merchants. I do my thing. I love it. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I do.
Are you loving being in
Well, before I came here, I was seeing a merchant.
Really? Mm-hmm. And you took your time out to come and see me today. So, but are you loving it?
I am loving it. Yeah. I needed that break because I'd done it for so long. And the day that I walked back, it felt right. It felt really good. It felt right. I think what I love the most about The Entertainer is growing up not having any money, and like a lot of people do. So for me, it's more about making the unaffordable affordable. Mm-hmm. And I didn't like really the way in the 4 years that there was a different vision. So now that we're back and the team, and it's just not me, it's a whole company that makes this happen, that we're back in the market. We've got the strongest deal in the buy one, get one free. We've signed an extra 1,700 outlets, brands, not even outlets, in the year that we've been back.
Hold on, you've been back in a year?
A year.
1,700 new brands have signed up.
These were some of my old brands that I used to have great relationships with, and I still do. But yeah, there was 17.
How many brands? If I get the Entertainer app right now, how many options have I got within there to get a discount?
It depends. It's not a discount. It's buy one, get one. Buy one, get one. Strongest deal in the market, Spencer. It depends on the product because we're throughout the whole GCC and we're in Singapore as well. So Dubai, 7,000.
I've got 7,000 options.
Offers. So you have 2,500 outlets with 3 offers per outlet. So you can go to a water park, a theme park, a restaurant. You can go 3 times with the buy one, get one. You can save your money at one brunch, one spa, one round of golf, just with the cover price of the product. And you've got it for a whole year. So it's January to December.
How many competitors are in the market with you now?
Oh, there's loads of competitors, but I like to stick in our lane and I don't really focus on that a lot. I do what we do well. And that's what, everyone's got their own loyalty program. It depends what a competitor is to you. Is it the delivery side? Is it the dining side?
What is competitive?
Anyone who tries to come in our space. And a lot of these, majority of these actually, 98%, they all sign exclusivity with us for the buy one, get one free.
Okay.
So we have a great group.
How many customers does your business have, roughly?
Well, we do B2C and B2B. So we do a lot of the banks, telecommunications, FMCG we provide for them.
So how many customers?
Millions.
Million.
Yeah, millions of customers, millions.
I met a girl the other day on the podcast who I think you would love. Okay, her name's Courtney Black.
Okay.
And she's from East London. She's 28 years old. Okay, she's a personal trainer.
Okay.
So she did an apprenticeship in an accountancy firm in London, hated it. And so she did a personal training course at the weekend because her sister was fat and she wanted to lose weight. She started posting on social media, got a little bit of traction. Then lockdown came and she did free live workouts every morning at 9 o'clock for 4 months in lockdown. She got 800,000 followers. While she was getting the followers, she built an app.
Good for her. I love that.
She charges £15.99 a month for the app. She's got 80,000 subscribers.
Yeah, very
And she hasn't even got a laptop.
Oh, I love her already.
And she's got a flat here in Dubai Harbour. She's 28 years old. She's making more than £1.2 million a month, okay, from her business, from her phone. Okay. And I'm like, you didn't go to university. What was it? She said, well, where I come from, you're either going to get stuck in and make it happen or you're going to be a victim. And I decided I was going to get stuck in and make it happen.
Exactly. You either make things happen or you watch things happen.
And so when she's talking to me, I'm thinking about you. So she was on the show 2 weeks ago and I'm thinking literally about you because I remember all those years ago, that bloody book, that's what I remember because everyone had it in the office.
Carrying the box interests me.
Yeah, but it was huge, this book.
Oh, I know.
I used to carry the book to the restaurant. I didn't take the voucher out. I would go in. And back then we had those fat mobile phones and we had our wallets and stuff because and I would carry the book in and I would be with my partner at the time. She's like, why have you got the book? I'm like, because we need to pay with the voucher. She's like, well, why don't you just take the voucher?
You might have changed outlets. But that's why the app is so good now because everyone's already got their phone, they've got their offers.
But I see, but when she made me think about you because she's gone out and she's hustled and she's done very well for herself and she's not taking no for an answer. And that's a really important ingredient. And a lot of the time, people like you, the success you have, you talk about these words, there's grit and determination, but you have a special ingredient. That special ingredient that you have, clearly you have it because you don't see it very often in other people. For you, it's not a special ingredient. For you, the word is normal. It's just what I do. It's who I am. It's how I think. It's how I operate. Why wouldn't everyone else operate like that?
Correct. I know what you're saying. I don't see myself like that, but because we are like that automatically, I don't understand why people wouldn't want to go and achieve something or do this or why are they taking so slow? Let's just make things happen. Let's go and do it. But not everyone's like that. And I totally understand that now. And if everyone was the same, life would be boring at the same time.
Well, the reality is
you're not the same.
Nearly nobody's like that.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's the truth. Nearly nobody's like that because everyone would have the success that you had. Now, let's talk about ego. Okay, because you don't have one.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I thought you were going to say I did.
Yeah. By the way, love.
No, I don't have ego. No, I know I don't have ego.
Was there a moment or was there a time or did you remember experiencing something when you got all that money that your ego changed at all? Did you ever look in the mirror and go, "Oh, hold on a minute here, don't get cocky" or anything like that?
No, it never even came to mind. I was really proud of myself and what I'd achieved from where I'd come from. And the first thing I actually did was I bought both my parents a house so they could live in it forever and not have to struggle. And it cost me double because they were divorced. But I'm also believe in giving back and the people that have helped you along the way, and you can't enjoy it alone. So I don't understand why other people don't help people when they've got money and things at the same time. But no, I don't think I would say I'm quite humble. I don't have an ego. Everything I do is for the benefit of either the company or others. And my only bit of ego was I was proud of myself for really what I'd done.
Are you motivated by money?
That's not my main motivation, no. So, for example, back at Entertainer, I'm not back at Entertainer for money. I'm back to make my commercial baby again, not good, but great, and to take everybody on the journey as well with me.
And when you make it great, then what happens?
Well, then I'm proud of myself again.
You can make some money.
But yeah, you can make money. That's the bonus, but that's not my driving force. And anyone going into business, money shouldn't be their driving force. If it's money first and then you learn to love something you do, it's not going to work. You have to love what you do first and be hardworking, and the money will come when you're not thinking about it.
What injustices in this world bother you enough being in the position you're in to do something about?
Oh, that's a good question. There's a lot going on in the world, but the problem is you can't save everybody, I'm really passionate. I'm passionate about mental health. I'm passionate about kids. That's my big one as well. I'm passionate about things that I can make a difference with immediately, not research in a nice way. Mm-hmm. So if I can make an impact straight away, now when I say straight away, not in a day, but in a month or 2 months, I'm really happy with that because I can change something. Or I can
like build a school for kids in Africa? Or what do you mean by that? Give me some.
Yeah, if you, for example, build a school, or if there is someone not so wealthy and you can change their life by just doing something for them. I don't know specifically what, but if you can change someone's life immediately or in a month or two, then I think that's beneficial rather than putting something to research. And don't get me wrong, we all need things for research, but the money that you could put into research could change 20 or 30 people's lives straight away, and that's the impact that you can see. And that I like to see the impact because I might never see anything in research and I don't know about it. It's great that it's a feel-good factor to be able to contribute to it, but to see someone's face light up, or someone that couldn't afford a car that wants to do delivery and you've been able to provide that, or whatever the scenario is, build a home, that's rewarding. That's really rewarding. Pay for somebody if they needed an operation because their life is more fulfilling, then you can do that. And that's fulfilling to me.
Social media influencers kind of like with their pastel colours talk a lot about gratitude and gratitude journals. And for most of my career, I was like, oh, go away, will you Wally. Wally's the only word.
You're Wally.
You donut. But I found that I was forced into gratitude after working with the children that I've worked with, forced into being grateful because I was exposed to something that made me feel grateful. Mm. When I felt dark times or when I felt difficult moments, I would lean into people that had lives that were much worse than me, and it would be like, snap out of it, Spence, look at their life compared to yours. And it was like an injection of gratitude that went in to remind me, okay, how lucky I actually was. I had roof over my head, food on the table, all that kind of stuff. Okay. These kids had nothing, like nothing. Do you have a conscious process to use gratitude in what you do, or are you I'm just a grateful person, or does that not play a role being as successful as you are?
Yeah, no, look, I don't, I'm extremely grateful for what I have. And as I get to do this, I don't have to do this. This is what I don't want to be. I'm never going to be a victim. So whenever there's something I don't like or whatnot, I always reverse it, like I was saying earlier. I will take some time out and I would really appreciate things that I have. I also teach that to my 2 kids. You need to be grateful for all the things, or, there's people in the world that don't have what you do or whatever it may be. But you always think when you're going through a tough time, there's always someone worse off than you. And there always is. And that worse off people, there's someone worse than them. And that's how you just have to, again, like, God, Donna, get over it. Let's move on. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. And you just have to go on with some positivity and think of the good things in your life that's happening. And the good things are you're healthy, you're breathing, your 2 kids, I've got great friends. So, there's a whole list of other things that can go when you're actually having a bad day or a bad time. And trust me, I've been through a lot of bad times in the last 5 years. And you just have to, it's okay to cry at the same time. It's okay to let it out. It's okay to see a therapist. It's okay to do all of that. It's how you deal with it and how you're grateful for things.
How do you measure other people being successful?
I measure other people being successful from what they started with. Okay. I love it when people start from nothing and they've built something. If you're given $1 million, it's a much easier start. Not that I measure people on that way, but I look up to people more that have started with nothing, like the personal trainer lady that you were talking to me about. That's awesome. That's cool. She did the grit. She was hardworking. And there are hardworking people out there that also don't ever get successful. So there's a lot of hardworking people. I'm not saying that there's
But do you measure success in people's business success, or do you look... So, for example, Maria Conceição, all those kids, I sometimes go, that's the most successful person I know. It's not a money measurement or a business measurement.
It's not money. It's happiness to me. Happiness. If someone's happy, they're successful. Why wouldn't you want to be happy? Happy, laughing, it's the best recipe for anything. You would rather sit with a happy person who makes you laugh, who's got energy, who has $50 in their bank account, rather than a wealthy person who's on their phone the whole time, giving you no attention, who's unhappy within themselves. I'm like, give me the $50 person any day.
Yeah. I agree with that. My eldest daughter is a lot like you, driven, focused, head down, tail up. She wants to be somebody, and I can see it.
Yeah, it's drive.
My youngest
wants the older sister to provide for her.
She's clearly buying products from your cannabis company in Jamaica a lot of the time. But she hasn't got a competitive bone in her body. But everyone loves her. She's hilarious. Okay, she wants you to win. Doesn't care if it's just wants you to win. She loves you winning, but sincerely loves you winning. And I look at her and I'm like, come on, you need to be more, fight, try hard, go and be somebody like that. And then I look back and I'm like, is she the one that's got it right here? Because she's always happy. For her, she just wants to be settled. She just wants to have her boyfriend, and she just wants to do the work that she likes doing. It's meaningful for her. And, and that is that success in another way that we don't measure so much because it doesn't come with Birkins.
Yeah, exactly. I think success comes in different ways, and it's your personality type and within you what makes you happy. So your daughters clearly are very different, but if they're both happy, well, they're both successful.
With one?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. How do you measure how much it saves people?
So on the app, we get data, hence why the app's better than the book. So we can see everything and the spend, et cetera, and how many redemptions are made. So we would put into the economy every year $1.3 billion, which roughly means there's a saving of $250 to $300 million that people have saved using our app. So that makes me feel proud.
That's phenomenal.
Well, thank you. But you're helping the customer save money, but at the same time, you're helping businesses increase their revenue. Pretty
Either
amazing,
way.
huh?
Do you know what I love about business? When there's a win-win.
It's total win-win.
And that's such a win-win, isn't it? It's like they win, everybody wins, everyone's happy, and you win as well as a business.
It's a great triangle
service.
model.
Yeah,
it's a triangle model that wins in 3 points, and then the triangle model is very hard to find. So, yeah, the three win: the customer, the merchant, and the company.
So what does the future hold for the entertainer? Give me the roadmap for the next 24, 36 months. So give me some exclusives on what's coming that wouldn't already be in there that maybe you're holding back for announcements that I can secretly nick from you.
Oh, goodness me. Okay, we've just signed a very big deal with a very big company here for 5 years. That's our delivery will go to the next level for that. That's with, I may as well just tell you.
Yeah.
Because it's you, because I haven't seen it for 5 years. It's actually with KFC, the Americana Group.
I know the Americana Group.
Yeah, so we have their brands done in, but now they've never done KFC before ever with anyone, but KFC, Hardee's and Pizza Hut will be on our delivery platform, exclusive, buy one, get one. And we've signed that whole group for 5 years to participate with us. So that's a huge win.
Wow.
Back, exactly. Or you can do the buy one, get one, or 25% off the total bill, which they never do. The approvals had to come from America. So it just shows the power of the revenue that we can create, of the savings, et cetera, as the triangle. That's one big thing that we'll be enhancing. Obviously, the same thing, merchants. We're always making our app user-friendly. We're going deeper into the countries that we're already in rather than wider to start off with. But once we're as deep as we want to go, then we'll go wider again into some countries. We'll do some quick feasibilities on where we want to go. And then eventually I think we could look at, in the next 3 to 4 years, an IPO, which is very new to me. I have never done an IPO before, so I'm excited to potentially do that, and that's what we'd be looking at.
That's exciting.
That's exciting. And that gives everybody the opportunity to be part of the entertainer.
An IPO here?
I'm not sure where we would do it, but this region would be probably where we do the IPO, yes.
So how's Saudi going for you?
Yeah, Saudi's good. Saudi's a huge focus for us. I'm actually going to Saudi on Sunday for the FII 8 conference, which I'm really looking forward to. There's going to be some amazing speakers there. So Saudi is growing, it's huge, and that will probably be our second biggest country at the end of this year.
And when you're in this region, it's very easy to dismiss places like Egypt with 100 million people as being part of the Middle East. And then, because we come from this essentially this small country with this population of 9 or 10 million people, and then surrounding us is Oman, kind of sleepy in terms of population, Bahrain, Qatar and whatnot. But Egypt, 100 million people.
Yeah, didn't work. We've done Egypt.
Tell me why.
Egypt didn't work because people weren't honouring the vouchers properly. It was not dodgy, but it was hard to control in Egypt, let's put it that way. So Egypt, we tried Egypt twice, and there's also some big players in Egypt already, what we do. And that's the other thing I'd say also. Don't start something if someone's already got the monopoly of it. It's very hard to beat that. So go and do it somewhere else where someone doesn't have monopoly. So Egypt, there's a lot of companies that already have monopoly. We do some B2B in Egypt, but we don't have a consumer product in Egypt anymore. We just deal with the GCC Singapore, and then we'll expand after that. Okay. And we do B2B in London as well, but we don't have a consumer product there either.
For somebody who might want to come and work for an organisation like yours, okay, you've clearly got lots of employees already, but over the growth period that you're going to have, you'll be looking to take people on?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So for what kind of characteristics do you look for in the kind of people you...
It depends on the position. So I would always look in a sales position or account management position with our merchants. I rarely look at a CV. I look at a personality. Mm-hmm. I'm actually the opposite of what of HR would actually look for. I would bring the person in. I would look if I can mold somebody. If I look at, again, I don't like clock watchers. So I would look at their personality for that type of position. If it's finance related, legal related, etc., obviously then they need to know what they're doing, and I would look at a CV for that. If it's tech related. So some positions need to be looked at with experience, and others I believe you need just to give people a chance.
And do you employ from all nationalities, all cultures, all backgrounds? It's just the right person for the job?
Exactly.
Okay. So
and if that's male or female or wherever they're from, it doesn't matter as long as they're right for the job.
I really appreciate you being kind of honest and frank and open with me, because I know I've asked you some questions that you were uncomfortable answering and you wonder.
That's okay.
But I really believe this is the people that want to be successful and they want to grow businesses or they want to start and evolve and really care about that. You did it. And so I don't like coaches, I like mentors. And a mentor to me is, if you're going to teach me Spanish, you better speak Spanish. If you're going to teach me to make $1 million, you better have made $1 million. Because for me, I want to know someone that's walked in those shoes that I'm going to walk in. You've walked that walk. You've literally done it. You've been incredibly successful, and you're still sitting here with me after all of that success, being frank and open and brutally honest about everything relating to where you are and where you're going. And I really appreciate that. And I'm sure everybody else will too.
Oh, thank you. I'm quite an open book. I believe, obviously, in telling the truth and what you feel. There's certain things maybe I might not answer. But yeah, you've just got to be your own person, really. And I couldn't agree more with what you just said, in the way that if you're going to learn Spanish, speak Spanish. Because there's a lot of people out there who are able to tell you how to make $1 million, but why are they not a millionaire at this point? So again, I totally agree with someone. If I was going to personally get advice, I would actually want someone who's done it that I'm getting the advice from.
Agreed. Donna, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Spence. I might see you in another 5 years.